Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? My name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking all about Chivas versus Pachuca. Away from home, a really difficult game, penultimate game of the season, a game that we had to win. Obviously that and the Monterrey game, the last game of the season. We have to win. We have to get that top 6 position. We have to get as high up in the table as possible, secure automatic Liga promotion, and then, go into Liga and anything can happen in that. And let's be real, it wasn't the best game we've ever seen. It was a bit drab. It was always going to be difficult. Pachuca, we're actually directly challenging them, or we were anyway before this game kicked off, for the next position. So Pachuca were always going to be a difficult game. They are a decent team. So yeah, it was always going to be a difficult game, and yeah, it was a bit drab, especially in that first half. We dominated them, to be honest with you, though. I mean, not maybe in shots on target, but we dominated them in terms of chances. We were way closer to scoring than they were. But it's that guy again, Hormiga. Armando Gonzalez, man, what can I say about this kid that I haven't already said? I've been raving about him now for a year and a half. Coming up with the clutch again, a really fantastic goal. The goalkeeper had been doing brilliantly all game, and in the 71st minute, midway through the second half, we're starting to think, oh man, we're going to draw this game. We're never really worried about losing it. Obviously, there was a bit of a BS decision in these referees. The referees were quite diabolical. I'll talk about that in a minute. The Osso decision, but yeah, Hormiga now his joint record. He's reached Chicharito'S record for the most amount of goals for an under 23 Mexican striker in the league. He gets one more goal against Monterrey, he breaks it, and what a record that is. I'll talk about Hormiga in a minute, but brilliant goal, brilliant result because it ended up giving us a win, even though Luis Romo got himself sent off a couple of minutes later, stupidly, and yeah, that's 10 men. That was when Pachuca really started to worry me a little bit. I'm thinking, you know what, of course we're going to get down to 10 men, and then, they concede and whatever. Everyone saw that happening, especially the bullshit decision with, also getting fouled and the referee giving a red card and the VAR going, oh no, they're playing Chivas. We can't send any players off that play, against Chivas. So, any other team, any other player, if you're playing against any other team, it's a red all day long. But because it's Chivas, because the referees for some reason are weird, Chivas is dead. Let's just be real about that. They helped us out last game, but yeah, just diabolical decision. They should have been a man down very early on in the game, but it is what it is. We managed to see it out, a defensive masterclass. Another clean sheet for Tala Rangel. Yeah, we'll talk about Tolo Hill. I mean, he's got he's got a lot of clean sheets this season. Coming for his criticism, he hasn't had the best season. He's made plenty of mistakes. You say it's quote unquote his worst season, but it's one of his best seasons. He's had multiple clean sheets. I don't even know how many clean sheets he's got, but he's got a lot. And I feel like he's criminally underrated. I think he's a really good goalkeeper for us as well as for Mexico. I think he could be for Mexico if he's given the real chance. And yeah, he's going to be in and around the El Tri team, so you have to get used to it. I've seen some Chivas players, even a couple of mates of mine, criticise him. Fair enough, you're going to criticise a player for not doing well, for making mistakes. But I feel like, you know what, I think he's the best goalkeeper we've had in years. And I'm talking 5, 6, 7 years at least. He's a great goalkeeper, and we've made him. He's a Cantarano. He's from the youth system, and we've got loads of others coming out. I still rate Dragon. I think he's still a really good goalkeeper. I think he needs to be the one challenging Rangel and not Wally. In my opinion, I like Wally, but I just don't think he fits into this team. I think I'd much rather have Dragon compete with Rangel. God forbid, even if we can get Rangel into Europe, maybe Dragon goes in and takes over. Laciaga as well, who's playing for the Tapatio, is also playing for the Mexican under-23s, if I'm not mistaken. He's doing brilliantly as well. We've got loads actually. We've got like 3 or 4 goalkeepers in our youth system that look quality. So, plenty to stay tuned for that on. But yeah, like I said, Hormiga and Tala doing really well. Our defence doing really well, especially going down to 10 men. Like I said, brilliant result. Important result. So important. We needed to win this game, and we did but we managed to do it. Hormiga again. I mean, I'll talk about him now. equalizing Chicharito's record. I mean, Chicharito, um, if you're going to be compared to anyone, if you're a Mexican striker and you're a Mexican under 23 striker, if you're going to be compared to anyone, it's going to be Chicharito. I mean, he had an outstanding career at Chivas before he got his massive move to Man United. Man United were Goliaths when he signed for them. Maybe not so much now, but having said that, if Hormiga gets signed for Man United tomorrow, that's a good move for me. Man United strikers don't, you know, they don't have that many good strikers in my opinion. I think they've got Sesko, sure, and I think he's got a quality striker, but I feel like Hormiga could really have a go at their first team. So, Chicharito signed for them at their heyday, and he did really well for them. He was never a solid starter, the striker for them, but he was a great goalkeeper. He was a great striker. He was a great striker for them. He was a great squad player for them, and he I think he still has the record for goals to minutes ratio in the Premier League. He may have dropped that from his diabolical time at West Ham, but still, he had a phenomenal time at Man United, and when Man United were brilliant. So, if you're going to be emulated by anyone, it's going to be him. And the fact that Chicharito's come back to Chivas, and plenty of big accounts. They posted about comparing him with Hormiga and mentoring and stuff, and I retweeted them. I think it was El Campionissimo actually who tweeted out. I retweeted and said, look, I have always said that the biggest thing about getting Chicharito back into the Chivas, not only so that he can retire as a Chivas player, the club that he debuted with, he's got a family history with, but also to mentor the young players. We just started to bring a load of young players into the team when we signed him, we brought him back home, and he's got a real special relationship with Hormiga. You always see it in the pitch. I mean, Hormiga celebrates, he scores a goal, he celebrates with Chicharito. It's almost like a striking coach with Hormiga. It's really, really good to see, because I tweeted out, that's the main thing. That's the big reason why I was hyped about Chicharito coming back. And besides all the nostalgia and the feel-goodness of it, it was so that he can impart his wisdom. He's got a very, very good club career in Europe. He knows what it's about. He knows all the good things and all the bad things. He was at Man United. He played for Real Madrid for a bit. He's a really good player in Germany. He's been all over the place. In Spain as well, if I'm not mistaken. He's been all over the place. He's got loads of experience, good and bad, that he can impart. And he's obviously seen a kindred spirit in Hormiga, a little brother almost type relationship. And it's great to see. And you have to sit there and wonder, is Hormiga doing brilliantly? Partly because he's basically being trained by Mexico's best striker, and you can argue with that all you like, but the stats don't lie. He's Mexico's all-time leading goal scorer. He's in top 3 in my opinion. Third best Mexican player ever, under Hugo Sanchez and obviously Rafa Marquez. I think they're the only two people, the only two Mexican in the history to have a better career than Chicharito. So yeah, I mean, what a great play! What even if Chicharito retires in January or in the summer, his impact on Hormiga for me makes it worth it. We never signed Chicharito to score 20 goals, 15 goals, 10 goals, get us into La Liga. He was always there to help with the young players, and I feel like he could stay with the club as a coach or something. That'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, Hormiga's doing brilliantly right now. Calls for him. I want him to be the third choice striker for the El Tri in the World Cup. Stats don't lie, like I said, and Santi Jimenez is not doing brilliantly right now, but he's got a really good goal record in Europe. And then obviously there's Raul Jimenez. There's no other Mexican striker, in my opinion, that at this moment can compete with Hormiga. And he absolutely deserves it. Now I said, I tweeted that out as well. I do a lot of tweeting, but I tweeted out, not to this extent, but I wanted to explain it in the video. I feel like if Chivas gets to the Liga, if we directly qualify for Liga, the further we go into La Liga and the more goals he scores, I feel like he's got more goals in him for this season. The more goals he scores, even if he doesn't score any more this season and in La Liga as well, the further we go into La Liga, the more it stamps that he needs to be in the El Tri squad. There's a shortage with strikers. I always say once Raul Jimenez retires. Santi Jimenez hasn't done it for Mexico at the moment. He scored an important goal, to be fair, got on the trophy. But overall, he's not really done it for Mexico. He's been very, very underwhelming for Mexico. Then who is there? There's an obvious kind of pause where you sit there going, who is there? And Hormiga's that guy now. He's forcing he's forcing El Tri to basically pay attention to him, and he absolutely deserves it. And God forbid, we end up winning the league. That cemented it 100%. You cannot not take. For me, you can't not take him to the World Cup now, let alone if he does it in the Liga and wins a trophy out of it. Yeah, I feel like the future's big for Hormiga. I feel like the European clubs have got to be paying attention to him. Everyone pays attention to Chivas. Everyone, if you do well at Chivas, you get noticed. Whether you like it or whether you hate it, it's just facts. So at the moment, doing brilliantly. Taylor Walker's been underwhelming a little bit, but he's been very bit part. 20 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 10 minutes there. So if we do sell Hormiga to Europe, which I feel like at the moment on the cards, Taylor Walker is ready, I think, to step in. I think Pulido's on his way out. I think there's talk about him leaving in the January. Chicharito's imminently retiring. You have to face that. Taylor Walker next. I really do like Sergio Aguero from the Tapatio team. I think he's doing brilliantly. I would like to get Benyas Sanchez back, and some other players as well. I think we do need to make moves. And I also finally wanted to talk about Milito really quickly. What a turnaround for him. I always knew, as soon as we signed him, I thought this guy is it. We had a really, really good pre-season with him. Even though he was missing some players from Mexico, for Mexico. He's just got manager of the month for October, which is brilliant for Liga MX. He's doing brilliantly. I think he won all of his games, if I'm not mistaken. And I tweet out like, what a turnaround. I knew that once it clicked, it will click and it will be brilliant, and it's finally clicked. And I'll tell you, he's doing brilliantly right now. And even like I said, even if we don't do anything in Liga, he's definitely going to be back for next season. Work still to be done though. There are players that we need to move on. We still need to move on Pulido and Chicharito, like I said. I don't have Chicharito as a coach, but that remains to be seen. Brizuela as well, we've got to resolve him. I don't know whether his contract runs out in January or whatever. Tiba, I think we should move on. I think we should really need to go all out and get Diego Ochoa back. We really fumbled that. If we've got to pay over the odds to do it, then fine, but let it be a lesson that we have a really good Cantarano, we have a really good youth system. We absolutely need to be giving them chances. Some players are going to do better than others. Some players are going to come in and immediately do brilliantly. Some players are going to take a little bit of time and then do brilliantly. Hormiga took a little bit of time. Even a couple of months ago, 6 months ago, a lot of people were saying Taylor Walker should be the guy and Hormiga shouldn't be the guy. So anything can change in a few months, in a season. We still got to move some players on January, get some players in. Our defence needs work. Campillo's doing brilliantly, but he's out now for a little while. So for a long while actually, he's out for a while. So that's devastating. He's arguably our best defender. Toro's done brilliantly as well. All of the signings we made in summer have been brilliant. Efrain, Alvarez, Richie, they're all solid, great players. They have increased our squad, and that's what we need. We just need to do a little bit more, especially in defence. Tiba should be moved on now. I think Wally should be moved on now. They both deserve, first team action in Puebla or whatever. Let's talk about Marin coming back. I feel like that's not going to be a permanent thing. I think we're going to let him go, probably on a free. I've got a funny feeling we'll just pay his contract off. He didn't do brilliantly. He did for a little while at Puebla, but he didn't really do it. It wasn't a successful loan. I feel like that could harm us. I think we got to cut our losses with Marin, is what I'm trying to say. But there's players that we need to move on. There's players that we need to bring in. We need to tweak the squad a little bit more. We're not done in terms of building a squad. I think there's still players in Tapatio that should be playing in the Chivas first team. Aguayo, like I said, Aguayo is the big one for me. I think if Chicharito does retire in January, if we move Pulido on, and it's Hormiga and Taylor Walker, I really do think that Aguayo deserves a shot in the squad. I think he's done brilliantly. I think he might be injured, or he might not be in form right now. I think he's not started a couple of Tapatio games. I'm not quite sure why, but still, I rate the guy. I think he's a quality player. I think he's a star in the making. So there's other players that maybe I'm not too knowledgeable about in Tapatio that we can bring into the first team. We just need to tweak it. And we need to fully go in and trust our youth team now, our youth system. The Ochoa thing needs to be the last mistake we make. If we can't loan him out, fine, loan him out. At the time, we thought he's probably not going to get a look in. Get him loaned out to a Liga MX team. Get him minutes or whatever. And then obviously he went and played for the Mexican national team in the youth tournament. He's come back, but some reason now suddenly we don't have first dibs on him. So we have to pay a little bit extra, but that's a lesson that we have to learn. And hopefully, we can start believing and trusting and having faith that we have a really good youth system, the best youth system in the league now. There's no doubt about that anymore. With the amount of trophies the youth system's won, the amount of trophies the Chicharito's won, we do have a star-studded youth system. Yeah, we did make most of it. So we need to tweak some players a bit more. And then Milito's on his way, man. I think he's gonna win us some trophies. I really do. I really do think he's gonna win us trophies. Maybe not this season, but next season. If we can get January transfer window correct, like we did with the summer, nobody's missing Neno Beltran. Nobody missed Marion when he went. Some people did for a little while because Cheech, Pulido, Hormiga, and Taylor Wilker were not scoring for a couple of months at the beginning of the season. But yeah, I feel like we just got a perfect January and we could really go next season. But hell, this season isn't over yet. We've got a massive game against Monterrey. They've had a bit of a big wobble. I think they were top of the league about 2 months ago. They're right down with us now. We can't overtake them, but we can get within a couple of points with them if we do win against Monterrey. I think we're in form. I feel like they're going to attack us more than Pachuca did. I don't think they're going to rely on us going to man down. Luis Romo's a massive miss. He's been brilliant, arguably our best midfielder. Maybe not. Maybe Richie and Efrain is in there, but Romo's a big miss. But it is what it is. We have to deal with it. We've got it's a massive game. This was a massive game. Monterrey is a massive game, and then get secure automatic promotion to Liga, and then, like I always say, anything can happen in Liga. So, yeah, let me know what you thought about the game. Hormiga, Talamangel, everyone that I've talked about, everything I've talked about. Let me know what you think we can do against Monterrey, and let me know what we can do in Liga, because in the form we're in, if we do beat Monterrey, we're in fine form, and that's what you want to be going to Liga. If we do lose, I don't know what that does for the league table, but we have to win this game, and hopefully we do, and get the morale right up, get the form right up, and go to Liga and knockout tournament football, knockout football. No one knows what's going to happen in that. So, yeah, let me know what you think we can do, and let me know about this game. And anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. A bit of a midweek video. I'm home alone at the moment, so it's brilliant. I've got a chance to do a video, so keep an eye out for the Arsenal one. I'm going to do an Arsenal one tomorrow after the Champions League game. I'll do that and talk about the weekend game against Burnley as well. Do that both in the next video, so stay tuned for that. I don't know whether you guys watch the Arsenal videos or whether the Arsenal guys watch this videos, but I'm really kind of cool if you do watch both. It's kind of awesome. Leave a comment down below if you do watch both Arsenal and Chivas videos. And have a really good week, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching this long. And I'll see you guys very soon. Adios.